Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Galactic Astrology Podcast. My name is Ursula, and I'm joined today by the podcast co-host, Julia Balaz. And as many of you know, Julia is the creator and founder of what's called the Quantum Soul Guidance Practitioner's Course. Today, she and I are here to celebrate the graduation of our most recent practitioner, Couli. So welcome, ladies, and congratulations, Couli. Yay!
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome and super well done. I cannot wait to hear your story and just to showcase your beautiful, stunning art. It's out of this world, and I think it should be plastered everywhere. It's such a high vibration, such a beauty. Can't wait to show it and share it with the world.
I'll just add today is May 26, 2023. And so we're grounding in this now moment when the HYADES constellation is shining so brightly and overlighting our conversation. I'm calling in from California, Julia from Ireland, and Couli is based in France. So look at how global and galactic we've all become. To begin our conversation, of course, we'd love to hear Couli. Tell us about your past. How did you come along the spiritual conscious path that you've clearly been going so deeply upon? And how did you find Julia?
I guess as a child, I was kind of maybe intuitive and always felt on the side, in the margin, something like a marginal path I was walking. Although, I was just a regular kid, right? Something happened when I was 15 or 16, which is I just felt the pull to just leave where I was in France and just go to spend a year in a school and in a host family in Japan. That was my thing. I just want to go to Japan. I didn't know why, but I strongly wanted, and I felt the pull. I had to leave the place where I was and just go to Japan. So I don't think I was very aware of what was behind the scenes in those times, but I just felt the energy and I just had to go for it. And luckily, both my parents just let me go there. And I guess that was the beginning of the journey for me, because I could, things just, clicked together. I had a host mother who is still very close to my heart, and we're still that, mother and child relationship. But she just, she just asked me to just be teaching her classes. She still is an English language teacher. She's Japanese, right? And so she just, just asked me, just be that teacher, just teach in my class, and, just starting being a teacher, language teacher, right? And later on, so I spent many years in Japan. I went back to France, then left again for Japan, where I spent most of my time and got married and got my 2 daughters there. And I was always, teaching languages and stuff in Japan, university and different schools. So I love languages. I mean, especially Japanese language, which is it is visual, and also the sounds are very attractive to me. Anyway, and I guess I went on my spiritual path after I got my children, right after I got my first child in 2002, slowly started reading some stuff and, through books. And it's only after 2006 when we all moved back to France. I mean, my family, the kids, the dog, we all moved to France. That's when I found out about Reiki healing, and that I got the attunement, the initiation, and that's when everything started in my art. I mean, I picked up painting again after doing sculpture and modeling and creating dolls in Japan. I would do that for years, and after I went back to France, just picked up painting again, and through that, energy coming through after opening, the channel and everything, the painting just shifted completely. And that's well, it started a new journey for me.
I love that connection with Reiki attunement and your art, because it really feels out of this world. And there's such a volume of what you have created. And every piece is completely unique and different. I'm just completely in awe. I can spend hours just browsing through your creation. Truly inspirational. And tell us also about how you got to a point when you started creating the oracle cards, because this type of art is included in the tarot cards that can be used for personal guidance. I feel very fortunate that you gifted me a set of these cards, and I've been using it in many moments when I felt I needed personal guidance, and I received what I needed. It was really, it's exceptionally beautifully written. It really engages the subconscious, and there's such a high frequency in everything you create. So I really hope that the viewers will truly feel what I feel.
Thank you so much.
How was your journey with the oracle cards?
Yeah, it's great to hear your testimonial about using the holistic oracle. That's what it's called, the holistic oracle, which I created. I think I started in 2012 or something, and it only came out into this world as a deck in 2017. And it actually, it's a mix of many things, but I've been painting, all these years, just the process of creating is just like, okay, I feel like I want to paint. There's a color coming, like, oh, I want red. Oh, I need red. Probably I need red maybe in my aura, because maybe I have to balance. So I start with red. I never know what I'm going to paint. Never. It's just a color or the feeling I need to paint, and I just start painting, and slowly it appears on the canvas. So that's always magical for me, and it's always refreshing. It's fulfilling. It's truly fulfilling, and it doesn't happen just like this. Like the one you're showing, for example, or most of them is just like a process. Like, I would start with especially if it's oil, it needs to, as you know, Ursula, because you're also a painter, right? And so it needs to dry. So, I would just look and turn it around many times and just find an entry point. When I have found it, then I can do layers on it, and then things start to appear, or symbols, or I can see maybe faces, or sometimes I see animals and stuff, and I just start to materialize them more, and that's the process. So I never wonder, I never know, but it's okay. It's okay not to know, and I prefer not to know. That's what I like, the way I like it. And I was reading, I've been very much influenced, not even influenced, but the books of Barbara Marciniak about the messages from the Pleiadians. Once I got into them, they were speaking to me. They were channeled for me, and the books were written for me, obviously. It was such a, like very personal experience that I had with those messages. And when I was reading, after many times, it just clicked. It just, like the 4 seasons, they were talking about the 4 seasons. I just decided, well, I have to make that oracle deck, because I've got plenty of paintings, and I didn't realize that I had been painting them earlier on, so that when I needed them, I could put them together. So I had all the paintings ready for each season, spring, when things start to grow, it's about growth and about, decay, about life, the cycles of life. So that's how it came. And all the messages, a few messages I got from the book, but the rest is just mine. It's just what came through, and it quickly was built around the paintings. And it took time then to be printed out, and 200 of them, I printed them, and now they're all gone. They're all sold out, and it's bilingual. It's French and English. So that was the deal early on. Like it has to be bilingual because it had to be able to travel into the world, when it's needed. And so it's everywhere. And it's been helping me and other people, obviously, just, daily when they have questions, just to have guidance, as you were saying, Julia, just for inner guidance. And the thing is that, about your question, how I found you was through Elena Denan, right? And I just felt, oh, well, that's what I was looking for. That's just, it was the thing I needed in my life. And since I've been going through the course and learning so much more about, the planets and I'm rewriting the holistic oracle, and I'm adding all the information about, like the season, each season and each month, or each, when you look at the zodiacal wheel, it has seasons, right? So all the signs, the zodiac signs are going to be in there, and the planets, the stars are going to be in there, and much more, which I still don't know about, but well, it's in the process. So yes, I'm going to, republish the holistic oracle sometime probably during this year. Yeah,
sounds like a great plan. Upgraded galactic version of the holistic cards, but even the previous version, I think it would be wonderful if you had an opportunity to reprint another set for sale, because they truly are incredible. They're perfect as they are, and then the upgraded version. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I was thinking of keeping the same and just adding a galactic part to the text.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So the booklet, it will be changed, but the cards remain. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, totally.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Great.
I have to say, with your story, the Pleiadian frequency is coming so strongly, and so your Saturn is conjunct Pleiades, if I'm correct, in the 11th house, right?
Maybe.
I'm looking at your chart very tightly. Within 1 degree, your Saturn in late Taurus in the 11th house is conjunct Pleiades, and then your Jupiter is opposing high degrees of Scorpio in the 5th house, opposing Pleiades very, very tightly. So I believe and your Neptune is in Sagittarius, early Sagittarius in the 5th house, is opposing Pleiades too. So I feel your strong calling to go to Japan may have something to do with the Pleiades, because I believe the Pleiadian constellation is very prominent in certain circles, I suppose, in Japan, especially with their ancient history. Have you came across the Pleiadian information at all while you were in Japan earlier on?
No, but I know that the Pleiades, Pleiades in Japanese, is a word I would hear, like people who were connected always talking about Pleiades. So I guess there's something to it.
It has to be, yes. And then secondly, HYADES, and conveniently today we are influenced by that star system too, with the transit. I see HYADES, anyone who has HYADES in their chart, which your Venus in the 11th house is conjunct HYADES. And so I always see it with artists. So it's so amazing that there's a strong connection, conjunct with a very tight connection to HYADES. And Ursula, you as an exceptional artist too, you have strong HYADES connections too. So I just see there's another wonderful validation of how the soul really has that yearning to express itself creatively through painted art, and really channeling powerful frequency, manifesting it in this world. Like, I mean, any of that art, if you put it on a huge scale and place it in any environment, in any home, in any space, it'll instantly elevate it to higher frequency and just inspires something very beautiful and graceful. Don't you agree, Ursula?
I would. I'd like to just add to the chat that, it does take courage to not just create, but to share. So it's one thing if, as an artist, creating and then closeting the work. I commend you, Couli, for really stepping out and just saying it's just part of the flow. and it's part of what you do. And one thought too that popped in around this connection with the Pleiades with Japan, you know, when you're driving, you see a Subaru car in front of you. The Subaru has the seven sisters as part of their logo. So it's fascinating, that connection with Japan and the Pleiades, but also with Lisa Royal Holt. So I'd just love to ask Couli, you know, there's this thing that Lisa does between Japan and America, and it's this beautiful, I don't know, a connection that she's bringing through the Galactic and teaching in English and a Japanese translation. Wasn't sure if you've had a chance to meet Lisa on the path at Couli.
Not yet, but I found out about her work through your work, Julia. So I purchased both her books, I mean, 2 of her books. And well, at first I didn't know she was connected to Japan or that she is living there, right?
Yes.
So
Back and
yeah,
forth.
I hope I can connect in the future. And I know there is something for me to go back to Japan or to connect again in a different way with Japan in the coming month, probably month and years, because yes, all this work, I mean, I know all what I've been building, not only language wise, but all the, you know, like the knowledge and the recognition and the rememberings, everything is coming back together. So I know now I have to be more active and maybe act as, you know, like a bridge in between France, obviously, and Japan, and more Japan. So I'm really looking forward to do, you know, the Galactic reports in Japanese, but also like in French or whatever. And yeah, you know, getting back to HYADES and HYADU, yeah, I've noticed that also in the reports that I did already, like, yeah, like also writers, like I have a friend, she's a writer, and she also has a connection, I believe, with her Mercury, with HYADES. So that would make sense, you know, like the
That's
creative
very
part.
interesting observation. So Mercury would connect with the communication. For you, it's Venus, so it's more artistic. And then there is music connection too, which I would also see through Venus, Hadean connection. Yeah.
All right.
That's fun.
Yes. Well, that's interesting. And you were mentioning about the paintings, like being in people's homes. And that's one of my projects is like, yeah, I see myself now that I've moved out of where I was before, and I'm kind of changing my entire life. And now is I see myself as a nomadic artist. So the thing is that I really wish to go over this planet, different countries and places, wherever I will be welcomed, to make art in people's houses. So it could be on doors or whatever, closets or whatever, you know, on walls. And that's what I want to do, to be able to paint in people's interiors or houses or yoga studios or whatever. You know, when people feel connected to my art or my, I don't know, whatever, or even with the holistic oracle when it comes out again. Well, the thing is that I really want to develop that and to be able to travel and to connect with family, because that's basically what's happening. I can see that the holistic oracle has been finding its family everywhere over the globe. That was the idea. I was not pushing any, you know, any sales or, you know, I knew that people would find me or would find it and buy it, and the connection would be there. You know, so, and I trust that process, and I know it's working this way for me, at least. So, well, whoever, you know, is listening to the podcast and wants to have some Couli art inside of their house or place, or I would be very happy to connect and just go there and meet you.
You know what? This dream, this vision is so beautifully aligned with your chart. Your moon is in high degrees of Pisces in the 9th house, which is all about, it can be connected to traveling and going overseas, abroad, you know, far journeys. And it is very closely conjunct the Pegasus star Skeet, I think. How would you pronounce it, Ursula?
I've heard Shiat.
Oh, there's many versions. But anyway, the frequency of that star coming through the moon in the ninth house is Pisces. In Pisces is, bringing last minute resolutions or bringing hope to the moments when it is really needed. So perhaps when you visit someone's home, it will feel like a breath of fresh air, like the Pegasus winged horse came at the last minute moment, saved the day. So that energy is there. Your sun is at 24 degrees of Gemini in the 11th house, conjuncting at 6 minutes Orion Nebula, which is beautiful angelic frequency, opposing Galactic center as well. So the 11th house is all about bigger vision, higher frequency, bringing hope to the collective. It's very auspicious as well. So that, and I can feel that beautiful Orion Nebula frequency in your art too. And your ascendant in Leo, their sextile supergalactic center, Leo shining, coming through. But the North Node in Aquarius in 7th house is what I wanted to bring, which also Aquarius, that there's no limits, no borders, and it's very much like bringing energy of the future in to your art. So just before we connected, I quickly pulled 3 cards that will be relevant for you for this call. So the first one that I pulled was the future. The second immediately came in as communication, and then the third one was courage. So I think it's so fitting with everything we kind of mentioned already, that your time of expansion is coming, and you will be able to communicate and channel amazing information. If you bring courage and passion through it, it can bring so many blessings to those that will be touched by your presence. So I feel very excited for you. I feel so much joy.
Thank you so much. Wow, it's interesting because the first card, future, is also representing the holistic oracle itself. It is the oracle, if you read the text that goes with it. So it tells me, yes, that it's kind of, it's here and it wants to come out again. I mean, that's probably what I'm going to work on in the future month. And yes. Yeah, and courage. Yes, much needed. Yeah, and communication indeed, as Mercury is my ruling planet as a Gemini, and languages and communication, knowledge. Yeah, everything I love. I mean, yeah, thank you so much for the card drawing.
Oh, it's meant for you. So the 2 languages that you use for the Galactic Astrology Soul Reading is 3 languages, English, French, and Japanese, right?
Yes.
And what is the style of your sessions? Do you do video Zoom calls or written reports? Can you tell us a little bit about how do you feel most comfortable at this time?
Yes, at this time so far, I've been doing like a 30-minute video interview, just to feel the person, to be in touch, and to know what they're expecting about the reading, what they are into, what are their questions, and just to know a little bit more about their past. And because I don't want to be kind of guessing, when I'm doing the report, I just want to know exactly what they want and to be able to give them more.
I love
and
that.
So, and then it's a written report, and it's about like 16 to 18 pages in all, about, whatever their question is, and going into the galactic part if they wish to, but I guess they will connect for that with me at least. So yeah, that's the way it works.
I love that. I haven't seen that yet. So that personal touch, personal connection first, and then a few weeks later, as you work on the reports, you send them to them. What stood out for me with your certification reports was also that at the end of your reports, you encourage your clients to go through a questionnaire that you prepared, tailor-made for them, to kind of question on the information, the information that you send them, to reflect on, does it really resonate? Is that really so? Like really go within and do the personal work of really connecting to the information from inside out rather than just receiving it as a given. So I really, really love that. I think it's such an important part of the process with the clients. So really well done. I'm sure that was just an inspiration from.
And I'd like to add a little bit for anyone listening. If you consider yourself a creative, but perhaps you've limited your creativity to just say, well, I'm a painter, I'm not an astrologer. You know, there's these buckets oftentimes as humans that we just place ourselves in based on the societal norm. So I'm just sharing this message, which is really coming up strongly, that when you look at Couli and you tune into her energy, what you're really sensing is someone who plays with languages, light language, visual language. It's a communication on a broad scale. And what Julia has pointed out, that this idea of the 11th house and Aquarius is showing up so strongly, that it is this idea of communicating about the future and building a bridge. Couli, you mentioned building a bridge to people's homes or into Japan. So what we really find is someone who is building bridges through this beautiful languaging. And I know astrologically there is this portal of time now for a new visual language to come onto the scene to help activate others. So sometimes, you know, we send ourselves to Egypt or places of sacred geography. Through Couli's art and what Julia has responded so freshly from her heart is that this art can help activate and support those who are highly sensitive. So in summary, I just want to say, if you consider yourself a creative, do not just limit it to one category, that there is room at the table, especially within galactic astrology, to practice this idea of creativity, because you're already attuned to the intuitive side, to that right brain functioning as far as communicating with star families or learning, yes, on the left side of the brain, but then bringing it and balancing left and right brain. It's just the visuals that you see through Couli's art, which are available on Etsy and on her beautiful website, are basically, I see them as healing activation and download potentials if you decide to focus and meditate and allow the art to basically, you know, work with your energy field for the greater good. I'm sorry, that was just like a blast coming through me, but I feel it too.
Thank you so much, Ursula. Yeah, everything is possible. Just let it come through you and no limits. I mean, that's exactly the way you were saying, like, it doesn't have to be, you know, this size, this thing. It has to be also like from a place of joy, I believe, you know, like something playful, the joyful playground that you're also holding, Ursula, in your videos on your YouTube channel. And yes, just I believe also the fact that my 5th house is opposing, you know, like my sun, and there's much activity there. Yeah, I also feel very connected to that, you know, like it has to be lighthearted, it has to be joyful, just to let it come through. Actually, I just finished a painting on 2 Japanese sliding doors yesterday, and I just decided I was going to paint the other side. And that was magical, because I had that vision all of a sudden. I don't know, I'm going to tell it here, but I was thinking of Pam Gregory the other day, and I was, you know, having her image in my mind, and I was seeing her and thinking how she's making a living and that kind of stuff. I don't know why. And then all of a sudden I saw that there's 2 doors behind her, and it was golden and beautiful golden. So I kind of tried to fix that in my memory, in my mind, because I found it so beautiful that I wanted to paint it. So I just decided I'm going to start that painting yesterday. So with much yellow, I never paint yellow, right? So much yellow and orange and stuff. After a while, I just, you know, I was looking at it, and it's not finished at all. It's just, you know, what is going to be in the background. Maybe it's going to disappear, but these 2 beings were there, but real beings. I mean, I didn't see them, but now I know what they look like. And I felt that was very intense, because I know they're watching over me in this very special time. Anyway, because, well, my dear father just passed, and I feel so much connection, and I'm asking for that connection, protection, and it's here. So thank you for just holding the space for me to just speak about that. Well, so it's also coming through my art, and I'm always in awe when I see this happening, and it's been happening over and over. So I guess like when people are seeing some of my art, and sometimes they're having reactions, like people would cry, or I've seen so many reactions in front of my paintings. So I know where it comes from sometimes, and sometimes I just don't, but it's okay. And I'm just wishing to hold the space for that. And it's always magical, and I love it. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much for sharing and for bringing that through. I have to say, the energy, the divine love that is with you, divine support that is with you, is, we can almost touch it, is so strong, so beautiful. So may you continue to be pure channel for these heavenly energies, and may they come through your art and through your QSG sessions, and may they really bless people infinitely. Thank you, Couli, for being here with us. I'm so inspired.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Echo. I know, as we thank each other, you know, Couli, you are here to set the new paradigm, you know, and blessings to your father's passing as a marker for you're here to build that new paradigm. It's not these limiting boxes. You just kind of, you're open to source, and we're in this new photonic light belt, and you are painting those angelic realms and more. So thank you, ladies. It's been so lovely to have this chat. May we all meet again soon.
Much love.
Yes. Thank you so much.